my daddy made whiskey. First off, he'd bought some sheets of copper, about 3 by 3 square sheets of copper. We had a little brush out behind the house, a little thicket of trees, and I'd go out there, and he had a soldering iron, had a fire built, and I'd go out there and tell him that dinner was ready. And at the time, I really didn't know what he was doing. He didn't say what he was doing. I didn't ask him. But after a while, he finished his project, and he'd made a still out of copper. A lot of the old moonshiners back in those days didn't have the money to even buy the copper, let alone to solder it and put it together. But Dad soldered this up with soldering irons that you stick in the fire. He built him a fire, and this is back in the ancient times, you might say, back when nobody didn't have electric soldering iron. All they had them old soldering irons that you stick in the fire, and he soldered that, completed that still, and we carried it down to an old cabin. It used to be my grandpa's cabin over on Spade Mountain, but it's down in a holler. Well, we carried it down there. Dad we dug holes out there in a little smokehouse and set 2 barrels. And in those barrels, we put chops, corn chops. That's why they call it corn whiskey, because they make it out of corn chops. We put sugar. We put 50 pounds of sugar in one barrel and 50 in another one. There's 25. I guess it's 25 and 50 pound altogether. 25 in one barrel, 25 in the other, and then we put yeast in it. We put brand on the top, filled it up within 6 inches at the top, and put brand on it. And we just covered it up real good, put a lid on it, and let it set. And it depends on the weather, but from probably 4 to 7 days, that would work. That'd bubble and start fermenting. And then after all the brand went to the bottom of the barrel, then you could dip out that beer, take it, put it in the still, and build you a fire on the still, put your worm on your still, put a barrel there beside it with cold water, put your worm down in the water, and start cooking your whiskey. And we did that many a night. We'd start just about dark, because we didn't want anybody to see our smoke coming out of the chimney of that old house. A lot of times people during the daytime, if they seen smoke coming out, they'd see that smoke and they'd say, well, they got a fire over there someplace. We'd start right at dark, and we'd cook it. A lot of times it'd be 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning before all that whiskey would run out of there, and we'd carry our whiskey in burlap sacks back up on the mountain to our cabin where we lived. But that's how you make your corn whiskey.